What is up, fanatics? It is Wednesday at what appears to be 4 o'clock my time here, which I think is 8 o'clock back in the real world. And I have no idea if you guys can hear me okay or not, because I have, kind of plugged a microphone in here and there. So if you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If you can't hear me, give me a thumbs down. I don't even know what that really means, but greetings from Maui. So today is a special live stream from the beautiful world of Hawaii. And let me see if I can. All right, Facebook user can hear me. Thank you. Awesome. So let's share a little scenery. Oh, there we go. There we go. We'll just keep this open. Can I mute that guy? Mute. I think that'll do it. All right. So you've got the beach cam going over there, and I'm all hooked up here. So I've got some macadamia nuts and chocolate, and then for everyone else that doesn't like macadamia nuts and chocolate, I've got Spam, seaweed, and rice. And this stuff is absolutely delicious. I mean, if you don't know, you are missing out. So welcome, Double A. Welcome to all the folks out there. Let me see if I can go through. Hi-Fi Haven's here with us. We got Chris the Ditch Digger 1116. Welcome to the show. He's 5x5 in West Texas. So today I don't have a guest. We have the guest camera here. Let me put my hands in front of this thing. That is going to be our guest. And I'll stand up in a bit, and you can see the pool from here, and you can see the ocean there in the distance. But I do have a number of things to chit chat about today. Herman says, here, let me see if I can put this up. Oh, there we go. Dang, I finally get to see you live. But, dude, it has been forever since you've been here. Yeah, I'm glad to have you with us on the show today. That is super cool. Oh man, George is in Oahu. What's up, George? I was trying to find a hi-fi shop here on Maui, and I just came up absolutely blank. You'll have to let us know if you've got some shops over in Oahu. That's pretty cool. This is my first time here on Maui, so I didn't know what to expect other than what I had read. But super laid back here, super chill. We've just been on the beach. Kids been doing some surfing. I've been filming those guys, and just hanging out and eating a lot of chocolate. it's pretty bad. I agree. Hi-Fi Haven, the beach cam is awesome. And Facebook user, hey man, or hey lady, welcome to the show. So let's jump into a few things that I've been thinking about while I've been out here. So one really is the state of commercial theaters. And Maui has, I believe, 4 commercial theaters. One's on the west side, one's here in Kihei on the south side, and then they have 2 in central Maui, kind of up north. Now, I've not seen the 2 up north, nor have I seen the one on the west side, but the one here in Kihei, it's a nice little theater, but it is not what I would consider to be state of the art whatsoever. So it's not stadium. Now there's, I don't know, like a 2% grade, I guess, on the seating. The seating's nice. It's reclined. It doesn't have powered headrests, but it's got great cup holders, tables, and it does recline, so you can kick back. And I was comfortable, but I've discovered that without stadium seating, it's a struggle for me. I really need that stadium seating in a commercial theater for it to really kind of check mark any of the boxes. There was no Atmos or anything like that. So when Audio Architects, welcome. Oh, got Kevin up in the house as well. Everybody say hi to Kevin S., Mr. Subwoofer himself, and Audio Architects. Yep, living the life. Make sure you check out the beach cam here. That's probably the most important thing that I can show. But I watched A Quiet Place 2 with my wife. My mom's here, so she watched the kids, and we went out on a date night and checked that out. And I must say, you got to really bring a good sound system to make A Quiet Place or A Quiet Place 2 live up to its expectations. And it was okay in the theater here, but it didn't, like I say, check mark my boxes of a great theatrical experience. But maybe it had a little bit to do with the movie too. So there are going to be some spoilers here if you haven't seen it yet. So blah 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 la 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 if you need to. But the movie picks up at where the first one left off, and it advances the story somewhat. What happened in the movie, I think covers the span of, I don't know, a week or something. It's not a lot of time, but they basically go from where the first movie ends, and they move things forward a little bit. They move to a new location. But for me, the sum total of this movie was about how clueless the son is and how inept he is. I mean, and they just take the character, and it's just so sad for him. He's all like, I can't do anything right, and he like steps in a bear trap and almost kills the baby and all this stuff. I mean, it's just really, really rough for this poor kid, this poor character in the movie. So I'm not really feeling it. It's an okay movie, and I'm hoping that when I get this on Kaleidoscape and I take it home and I've got Atmos and I rewatch it, I can get a real experience because, like I said, the sound and picture were nothing to write home about in the theater. Now, I could tell that there are probably some really, really good ambient effects, but this cinema wasn't really putting them out there. And if you remember in the first movie, and they carry this through on the second, is one of the important pieces is the use of sound and then no sound and ambient environment kind of stuff. And there's a lot of opportunity in this movie for Atmos effects, just the way they set up scenes and how there are things that are actually happening overhead. It's there's a lot of opportunity. So hopefully, when I get this home at some point, get my own copy of it and check it out there, I'll have a different experience. But at this point, I don't know, just not feeling it too much. Now, couple other things to touch on. Let's talk about some videos. So, I released the 8600 review video not too long ago, and I've got the Harbottle M18X video is in the can. Editing is being finished right now, and I had an opportunity to sit down with Cody and actually tune this. So I tuned this to my Stark Sound speakers as a single subwoofer system. And all the measurement obviously was done from the main listening position, and I was really impressed with how this turned out. So this sub, plays flat down to under 10 hertz, just this one by itself, and I mean it's rocking out the low frequencies. It mixed in really well with the mains, with the Stark Sound ICH5s, and there's nothing I could really do about the room notch at 60 hertz. That's a room mode, because I did tune this for just one subwoofer right now, and so there's nothing I could do there. But I was super impressed with the extension and sound quality that came out on the sub. So I think you guys are going to have a fun time watching that video when it drops, and it should be out in less than a week at this point. Kevin's got a question about the 4K disc. I don't know when the 4K disc is coming out. And, I think unless you go watch this in a Dolby Atmos theater, the correct place to watch this is in someone's home theater that has a really good Atmos setup. I think that's going to be a real game changer for this particular movie, because if you watch this in kind of a normal cinema, I don't think you're going to really have much of a good experience at all. And speaking of subwoofers too, I'm hoping to bend my Kevin's arm and get one of his new. I don't know how secret it is anymore, but it still might be pretty secret. So I'm not going to call it out. But I'm hoping to get one of Kevin's new inventions, Kevin and Company, in for review in the not too distant future, because this is one that I'm actually pretty excited about. Because I always have challenges with my room because my room's not that big, and I can't do a false wall in the front for the screen wall, and I can't do something in the back, and I want to do the big subwoofers, but you end up with all these big boxes all over the place, and it's kind of painful. And GSG makes awesome gear, but it's kind of on the bigger side. Well, Kevin and his cohorts have come up with something that's a little bit different that, for me, is super exciting. So I hope to be able to show that to everybody in not the too distant future, because I think you guys will be just as excited as I am, because this really overcomes some of the hurdles that people experience when they're trying to get this really good bass, but they just don't have a ton of space for it. So anyway, Kevin, this is me calling you out, man. I want to do that video for you. I'm really looking forward to that. Also on the video front, did a SMSL M100 DAC video, and I think Audio Architects dropped his not too long ago. So if you're looking for a little flavor of that before mine comes out, you can go check his out. My video obviously is going to be better, right? I mean, just because I'm awesome, right? But this is kind of a cool little unit, right? So if you guys aren't familiar with SMSL, they make a lot of different audio products, kind of in the headphone realm, but the DACs can be used in two-channel world. And the way I tested it was actually to DAC my PC and listen to the Stark Sound ICH1s, which are freaking amazing bookshelf speakers. They sound really, really good. They're three-ways. And if you guys haven't heard those, I recommend trying to find a friend that's got a pair of those so you can check them out, because they're really, really good. But this DAC is nice because it's it's just under $100. And, it doesn't have any bells and whistles. It doesn't do Bluetooth. It doesn't have XLR outputs. It's just got regular, single-ended RCAs. But it does a wonderful job. It's super transparent, doesn't color the sound. The price is right, and it's a really good upgrade over just about any built-in DAC that you're going to have in any piece of equipment. So, I would say if you're looking for a DAC, this is definitely the kind of thing to look at. Topping does DACs as well. I've done a few review videos of that kind of stuff as well. So I would recommend that, for all you two-channel folks out there that are still using your integrated DACs that came with a CD player, especially if you got more classic level equipment, check out one of these newer DACs for not a lot of money. And I think that could be a very interesting way for you to kind of jump in to the world of external DACs. Now, if you use Roon, a really good way to leverage Roon in a two-channel environment is to build a Roon streamer and just use the software for Roon, load it on a Raspberry Pi, and then use any one of these DACs. It could be the ones that I've talked about or any of the others, and give that a shot, because that will give you a superlative two-channel experience. And you get to play with your DAC hardware and check that stuff out. So kind of cool stuff there. Just 2 days ago, I think it was, I dropped the FP amplifier bridging video. So a question that I get all the time is, how do you bridge an FP series amplifier? Because, it's not just flip a switch and go to town. This is a pro style amplifier, and it uses speak-on connectors for power. And you do have to jump through an extra hurdle when you bridge this style of amplifier. So there is a dip switch on the back that you have to flip up, and you can bridge channels 1 and 2, or bridge channels 3 and 4, as they call it, A and B or C and D. But when you do that, the output changes from +1, -1 cabling inside of that speak-on cable to +1, -2. And that confuses some folks. So I've given you two options in this video on how you can actually deal with the cabling. So you can either pull the end off of the speak-on cable, the end that plugs into the amplifier, and then move that wire from the -1 to the -2 connector, or you can go to eBay and buy a bridging cable, and that basically will convert the +1 -2 coming out of the amplifier to +1 -1, and then you can just plug your normal cable in, your normal speak on, and go to town. So a couple of different ways to do that, and this video has been strangely successful. I didn't think I'd get a lot of views, but it's churning past 3,000 now, which is pretty exciting to see a how-to on, not a super popular product. So this isn't like a piece of Sonos equipment or a pair of clip speakers or a KEF thing or a Denon AVR. This is Sinbasin or any of the other clones or the Lab Group and amplifier. And that's not like out there a whole bunch. So it's kind of cool to see that video do well. Also coming out pretty soon will be the walkthrough for the show. So I was a show ambassador at the Home Entertainment Show in Long Beach a few weeks ago, and I put together a highlight reel of a few $1 million worth of 2-channel audio equipment that they had on display there. And I think that'll be fun for folks, especially those of you that enjoy the 2-channel, to check that out. And on the show front, there's a lot of stuff coming up. So you got Rocky Mountain Audio Fest coming soon. I'll be there for sure. Axpona is coming up. I don't think I will be there, but then my favorite show in the United States, CEDIA, I will absolutely be there, and I'm really looking forward to that one. It's going to be super cool to see all my friends again, all the folks there, and all the new gear and technology that's come out over the last little while. So if anybody can make it to CEDIA, strongly recommend that you do. I mean, if you're into home theater, if you're into the custom installer space, if you like any type of home automation or any type of home entertainment technology, that is the place to be. All the toys that you want are going to be there on display. So get there if you can. All right, now, I don't have my mixer, so I can't play my intro music, and I don't even have my script in front of me. But right now, we're going to take a walk down to Content Corner. Not that I didn't already start with A Quiet Place 2, but there are a few things coming up that I think everybody should have on their radar. So F9 is out now, and I think at this point, F9 is turning, the whole Fast and Furious franchise is turning into a polarizing kind of thing. It's no longer about tuner cars and that kind of stuff. It's all different. It's like an action movie kind of setup. But I love these things. They're great popcorn movies. And I might actually go tonight and watch F9 in the theater that, isn't super awesome. But, I'm not looking to have an amazing experience with F9. So I just want to see it. So I might go with the boys tonight to check that out here. We've got a couple of days left in Maui, and we don't have any plans after dinner tonight. So maybe we can go over and catch an 8 o'clock showing and see what that looks like. Now, just word to the wise, if you come to Maui, man, everything shuts down early. I mean, and right now with COVID still in full effect, everything's locked down pretty hard. Half the businesses are still closed. If you wanted to have a low-key Hawaii vacation, now is absolutely the time to do it, because there is not a lot going on. And dinner time around here feels like it starts about 4 o'clock. A lot of retirees, and I think that is the time that people are hanging out and getting their din-dins on, which is super early. We tried to go out and get some dinner at like almost 9 o'clock when we first arrived, because our flight got in late, and there was not much left, just super slim pickings. And just some general comments on Hawaii. I think I might actually make a beginner's guide to Hawaii video, to Maui anyway, as this was my first trip. And there are a few things that, I think people that have the same kind of point of view as me would like to know about. And one of those really is the road to Hana. So you can go to Hana, which is on the far east side of the island, and the drive to get there is a harrowing 3-ish hours of single lane bridges and lush tropical forest with rainfall and cars that are almost killing you. and hairpin turn after hairpin turn after hairpin turn. And if you've got anybody that gets car sick at all, I guarantee you it's going to be horrible for them. I mean, they're going to get super duper car sick. So we made it just over halfway before we turned back, and we're like, that's as much Hana as we need. I don't need that much Hana in my life. So just say no. And I think maybe a video, letting people know that it is a torturous drive. And if you have kids or anybody that's car sick, you're not going to make it halfway before they're just, dying. And maybe halfway is a good enough drive because it lets you see and have the experience of kind of what it's like on that side, because the island has a lot of different microclimates, and you can go everywhere from super dry to, some places that have, close to the most rainfall anywhere in the world. Just right here on this island. It's really crazy, the disparity. And then you've got places in the middle, like the up country or back country, as they call it. Like if you're driving up to Halia, I can't even say the volcano's name anymore. Halia something. Anyway, which is George. Okay, George is calling it out. And this is, this would be a nightmare. At night in the rain, that would be something I would absolutely not even try to do. We actually commented on that because it rained a little bit and it became almost impossible for me. And if it was dark as well, no, just not doing it. Not going to do it at all. But one drive I would take is up to the top of the volcano, the dormant volcano. It's beautiful up there, and you get up to about 10,000 feet. And it's night and day. It's like you're on, the surface of Mars up there, and it's beautiful. It's got great views. And for folks that are friends with me on Facebook, I've posted up a bunch of pictures that you guys can check out. And if anybody has any other pictures they'd like to see, I'd be very happy to post that stuff up. It's mostly family stuff, but you get to see some of the Hawaii pieces as well. Okay, now we've talked about F9. We've talked about A Quiet Place 2. Now, the big one that we need to think about is Black Widow. And Black Widow is coming out in just a few days, and I am super excited about it. Now, when I get home, my brother's going to fly in and stay with us for a few days and pick my mom up and then take her back home. So I don't know if I'll get a chance to see it right when it opens. I might have to wait till Monday to go watch it, but I fully expect to watch this either in Atmos or IMAX somewhere. And for any of you folks that are in Colorado, I'm going to try and put together a meetup, although I don't know how many people are interested in doing that as opposed to, okay, there's some bird going nuts over here. Only in Hawaii. Some folks, I think, want to do it in their personal theaters at home, which I can't argue with that. It's a great experience to do it that way. But for this one, I think we're going to go support the tent pole in a commercial theater, albeit a really good commercial theater. So maybe that'll be Monday night before I can sneak away to do that and check it out. But that movie is going to be out imminently. And, it raises the question. So in normal MCU world, they do all of these kind of movies at the front end, right? So you would have expected to see the backstory for Black Widow at the same time you saw like backstory for Captain America, backstory for Guardians of the Galaxy, backstory for Iron Man, backstory for Ant-Man, right? But you didn't. This came out after. Now, I'm sure there's people out there that have a lot more information and knowledge about this than I do, but it just seems a little odd to me. Maybe they didn't think the character would be as popular. Maybe, I don't know. And now they're just trying to cash in, but it seems like they would want to forward the story in a way that is useful to the future. That's one thing I really like about the MCU is that it's not just a bunch of one-offs, and there's continuity there. There's a reason that they show most of the movies. Maybe not all the movies are great, like Iron Man 3, with whichever one had the guy, the actor that dressed up like the bad dude or whatever, which that movie was not good. And then I guess Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 were not all that awesome. Iron Man 1 was pretty good. But it feels like this Black Widow movie, there needs to be some kind of reason for the continuity. So, is she going to be resurrected and brought back in some way? or is this a way that they set up her sister to come into the continuity somehow? I don't know what the plot of the movie is. Maybe all these people die in the movie and it's just all dead, kind of like Star Wars Rogue One, right? Because they're all like, these people can't survive because they weren't there, so let's kill them all. But it feels like there's got to be something more to Black Widow, because I really like the character. I like Scarlett Johansson. So I would be very happy for them to throw in some kind of weird resurrection and bring her back. I don't know. I think that'd be super cool. But I do think they need to make way in the future for X-Men somehow, because that is going to be a massive moneymaker, and I'm going to fanboy like there is no tomorrow when they have a new Wolverine and hopefully do X-Men. Not that the original stuff was bad, but do it maybe in a better way. I mean, the casting that they had in the original X-Men it was wonderful. Patrick Stewart as Professor X, and what's his face is Wolverine. His name has escaped me. I mean, that's just, the casting was really good. I mean, that was awesome. And they won't find anyone better to play those roles, but they need to find someone, right? So I'm really looking forward to that as well. And let's see. Last on my content corner is going to be Dave season 2. So this is actually one of the ones in the thumbnail for the episode tonight. And if you guys haven't checked out Dave yet, you should do that. Now, season 2, season 1 I really liked. Season 2 is, I don't know, maybe stretching it a little too hard. But we'll see kind of where it's going, I suppose. But at this point, I'm still giving it a good thumbs up. And this is Lil Dicky making the move to the small screen, telling a pseudo biographical story of himself. I'm sure it's fictionalized to a large extent. God, I hope it is, because if he was really this big of an asshole in real life, I mean, that would be kind of tough. I mean, he's like clueless and super, super egotistic, and it's funny on the show, but if he was really like this in real life, how could anybody stand to be around him? So definitely check that out. Now, on the front of news, so for you Kaleidoscape folks out there, they've put all the Marvel movies back on sale, and I actually took some time while the kids were surfing at the beach today to go ahead and purchase all of the Marvel movies that I didn't have. And I was able to get each of them, and this is 4K, HDR, Atmos, the whole deal, for like $8.50 each, right? And that is just freaking amazing pricing on these movies. Now, I did do the disc-to-digital stuff, so there are Blu-ray copies of these things kicking around that I was able to upgrade to the 4K version in Kaleidoscape. But that pricing is really, really good. I think it's only $9.99 if you don't own anything at all. So if there are any Kaleidoscape folks out there that don't have these movies yet and they want them, and the reason I want them is because I'm going to build a demo script. So you can, in Kaleidoscape, you can build these scripts that play snippets of movies as a long demo, and it's so much better than taking a bunch of discs and having to switch out between discs, or even having a bunch of files that you switch amongst on some type of RIP system. This is kind of seamless and really awesome. And you could have somebody come in and be like, okay, here's 15 minutes of the MCU, go, right? And see all the really cool scenes. Maybe it needs to be 30 minutes or an hour or something at this point to have a really good demo of everything. But I want to put one of those together featuring some of the iconic scenes. So when folks come over and they want to test out the system a little bit, they can listen to it that way and, have those familiar scenes, but have it played in a very smooth way. Some other things that are coming up for the theater, which will be future videos, lined up as Period Audio, Triangle, Zadu, and Zapedia. Those are coming really soon. As soon as I get back home, I'll start putting finishing touches on those. New screens coming. So Seymour Trim, which is going to do horizontal masking, or is this vertical masking? This is vertical masking. So it'll go from 240 to 1 to 16:9 format, and I'll be able to set that up the thing I need to find now, and if anybody out there that's listening has any ideas, I'm very open to suggestions, is a control system that I can use for this. And, the common ones that always get brought up are like Control 4, uh, oh gosh, I'm just blanking out on the rest of them. Savant, uh, Crestron, and I think maybe Control 4 is the right one because I think they have a pretty cool remote control that I can move into as well. But I'll need to find a vendor and a partner that would be willing. Well, I guess any of them would be willing if you pay them. Just somebody that I can purchase that stuff from and get the services to set it up. My only issue is that I always end up changing equipment in the room often. And, whenever you change a piece of gear, it has to be reprogrammed for the new gear, which kind of sucks. But I do want to have all of the automatic masking and that kind of stuff off of the Kaleidoscape cues for movies, because Kaleidoscape will, it knows the format of the movie, and when you start a movie up, it will send a control signal out to Control 4 or whatever the system is, saying, okay, this is 16 by 9, so you need to close the masking, and then your screen. So I'm really excited about that. So that'll be another effort that I'm going to go through here in the future to kind of figure that thing out. Now, a video that I think is going to be pretty good that you guys, I think, should check out is actually from Audio Architects, and he just did his first amplifier build. And this is taking a cabinet and modules and putting it all together, and it's Class D, and that looks pretty cool. And I'd never really considered that before, so it's kind of cool that he did that, so I can kind of check out that process. I think it would be kind of cool. I'll see. I keep thinking there might be a couple of applications that would be interesting for that kind of stuff, especially in the subwoofer space. Not so much in the 2-channel stuff or the multi-channel, but maybe even multi-channel. If you could put one of those together and do like 300 by 8 or something, and for a decent price, if you could do that under $1,000 with a DIY, that would be pretty outstanding. So maybe that's something to think about. But his video is going to drop at some point. I think it's up on his Patreon now, so you should check that out. And for everybody, if you're not up on my Patreon, and I know you're not because I only have a handful of people in there, now's the time. Go check that bad boy out. Videos go up there first, so people get first look at that kind of stuff. And there's some other bennies in there too. And I hope to be able to start offering up some of this equipment that I have for folks to purchase at cheap prices that are Patreons there too. I know some other people do that with their channels, and I think that's like a pretty cool idea. So maybe I'll, just bite on them and copy that kind of thing and do it as well. Now the last two items I want to call out on content. So MyMail has another good idea on that. So he says, build a bunch of Class D monoblocks. That's interesting because that's a really, I think, straightforward build. And when I get a chance to look over what Mike did, I'll see how that all goes together and see if you can do that. Because there are a couple of companies that have really small Class D monoblocks that I think are pretty cool. Cherry, so digital amplifier company, DAC, Cherry amplifiers, they have these really small ones. They're Class D monoblocks, and they're designed to actually hang off or sit right behind the speaker. And the speaker wire is just, like 6 inches long. And that's the whole idea behind them. And I'll be doing a Cherry amplifier review here pretty soon too. I've got it sitting at home ready for me when I get back. I haven't started filming on that one yet though. So it's still a little ways out, but that one will be coming. But yeah, I think that's a kind of interesting idea on the monoblocks, because you could probably make those really small and do them like, I don't know, 800 watts a channel or something. I mean, just monster monoblocks. And that would be kind of cool. There's a DIY amplifier that I saw, and I'll have to dig up and put a link up for everybody to check out. And it's just gorgeous. That's the style that I want to copy to, if I ever do it, to see what it looks like. But anyway, that's kind of an interesting idea. And thanks to Mike for kind of putting that out there for folks. Okay, so Herman says, stay safe. P.S. Spring might stop by Suzhou next month. That's cool. China's going to be next June, I think. So if the world is back to normal in June, I expect that I will be out your way, and we'll figure out something. Hopefully, you're pretty far down the road on your home build at that point with your theater, because I definitely want to check that out. But anyway, like I said, back to the last two content items: Forever War and Dune. So Forever War's out now. You got to check that one out. That's on my schedule to watch as soon as I get home. I heard really good things about it. Some people say the ending plot's kind of thin, but that's okay, right? I mean, as long as the movie's fun, I don't need it to be a blockbuster, tearjerker or anything like that. Just fun is going to be enough for me. And then still the build up to Dune. So I've bought the old version of Dune, and I've got that in Blu-ray. I'm ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to watch that, invite some people over to do a rewatch on that one just to prepare for the new movie. So super, super excited. Okay, now at this point, I think it's time that we give the beach camera a little bit of love. So I'm going to set this microphone down, and I'm going to give everybody a shot of the scenery here other than just those palm trees. So this is Maui Sunset. So it's, I guess, ostensibly a condo complex, but it has, I think, been turned into a lot of Verbos and all the other Airbnb type things that are out there. But, it's right on the water. You can walk down. There's private. Well, no beach is private here, but it's just it butts to the property here. And it's okay. It's a little too rocky, but it's not a bad beach. You get a lot of, look at that guy. Woo, what is he doing? He is up in the air. It's pretty crazy. And it's got a pretty nice pool. It's always pretty rocking down there. Hot tub. Spent a lot of time down there with the boys and my wife on this trip. And, you'll always got the sunbathers and the shuffleboard folks and tennis courts and that kind of stuff. And the grass here is really nice. You look at it and you're like, is that fake grass? Is it AstroTurf? No, it's all real, but they do a pretty good job keeping it up. So we've enjoyed it here. The actual unit that we're in is so. It's not super awesome, but it's all right. But let me show you one more thing that's kind of cool. It's kind of hard to see, but that is rice, Spam, and seaweed. That right there, that's just waiting on me. It's coming soon. I'm going to gobble that bad boy down. Oh, yeah. It will be mine. All right. Okay, folks, that covers all the content that I had. My mail, that's Spam sushi. I guess that's what they call it. It's just big ass piece of rice with Spam on top of it wrapped in seaweed. Pretty straightforward. I don't know if it comes to the level of calling it sushi or not, but it's very, very similar to that. But that's the end of the content. I don't see any other questions from anyone. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up because we're about to go take a stroll down the beach. What would be cool? Maybe in the future, as vacation time comes around for everyone, we can, take a group of folks and go to the same place, and we could have some big group vacation kind of things. That might be fun, especially if you can mix it up with some kind of hi-fi thing. Like if you go to some place that has some nice hi-fi stores, that kind of things, or even companies that we could go tour. I bet we could even set up tours, go tour the Clips factory or the Indie Audio Labs factory or something like that. That'd be kind of fun. Maybe I can set something up like that, for folks that would be interested, because I know I would. I love that kind of stuff. I geek out on it all the time. So anyway, thanks everybody for jumping on and watching with me today. Next week we'll be back to normal. I don't have the list. I'm not even sure who my guest is next week, but I'll call that out and get that up on the web so everybody can see that here pretty soon. And if there's anybody that you want to see on the show, make sure you get that information to me, and I will reach out and see if I can get that scheduled for you. So if there's anybody that you want to see come on, let me know, and I'll do everything I can to get them on for you. Everybody, thanks again. Take care. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.